So now we're going to create a submix with this bad boy. So what we want to do is we want to take the outputs of the two accompaniment tracks, 1 and 2, and not send them to the master out, but send them to a bus. Okay? And then what we're going to be able to do is turn down the levels of the accompaniment part with just one fader, not have to go to 2 different tracks. We could automate it, we could put plugins on it, we could do lots of other things on it. Okay? So how do we do that? It's pretty easy. Go to the mix window. You can just click the mixer right here. Okay? You can also, if you want to see the mix window bigger, you can go to Window, Mixer, and it'll open a whole window of just the mixer by itself, which when you're starting to do this might be easier. And you can hit Command tilde to switch between those two windows, by the way. That's tilde. Just above the tab key. So what I'm going to come here, and this is my channel strip, and you'll see that near the top they have the input. Then you have your effects, just like you would in a regular mixer, right? Here's you can put in your compression and EQ. And then there's sends, right, which we're going to use here in a second. And then there's the output. Now I would have put the output at the very bottom here. In fact, Pro Tools does. It's down at the bottom. Logic puts it way up here. Okay. I'm going to take this accompaniment 1 and 2, and I'm going to send it to, I'm going to click and hold on that, and I go down to bus 1. Watch what happens when I let go. Choop, it creates a new channel. Automatically created a new channel that is associated with bus 1. Now I can do the same thing with accompaniment 2. I'm going to send it to the same bus. And then I'm going to double click on this and I'm going to call this accompaniment master. And if I hit play and I turn down this, it turns down both of these. If I can mute these, the rhythm and the bass. They're both gone. Okay. I can set my relative level between these two. A little more piano. Let's see. There's the piano. Some guitar. I like it like that. And now when I bring this down, you don't hear either. Does that make sense? You can imagine if this was a choir and I had 10 mics for the choir, a drum set where I had 4 to 6 mics, okay? Or the wind ensemble like I had where I had the 2 sets of stereo mics. Once I got them balanced to each other, I wanted to be able to control them both. This is why you'd use a bus out. Yes? Okay, right here on the output, you see the output right here? You have to click and hold where it says stereo out and make sure you send it to the bus. To bus 1. And when you do that, it'll automatically create this new aux auxiliary return. And I double clicked that and named it accompaniment master. Now we're going to create an effects send, which is the other main use that you guys are going to have of these buses, okay, and routing. You'll come in here, and let's say we want to put, I have this lead sound. Oops. And I want to put some delay or reverb on it, okay? I'm going to click and hold right here on the sends, and you'll see it'll go to the buses. Now, I don't want to send it to the bus that I'm using for the accompaniment master. I want to create another bus. You'll see there's 256 buses. There's lots of buses, lots of ways to get to school, right? So I'm just going to put it on bus 2 here, okay? And you'll see that there's a small little volume knob right here. You can click and drag it up, okay? I would recommend just holding down the Option key and clicking on it. And now you'll see there's another aux that came back. Look at that. And if I hit play now, if I mute this, it still plays out the main out, but it's not as loud because there's another copy of the signal being sent to this channel. These effect sends make a copy of the signal. Okay? Copy of the signal. So the reason I'd want that is now I've got this here. I'm going to go ahead and call it, I'm going to double click on it and call it reverb. And on it now I'm going to put a plug-in. How about reverb? I'm going to put the Nverb on there, and we'll put response at 120. I don't know what that means. They're default settings in this reverb word. There you go. And now I can control the amount of reverb by changing this fader. My wet dry mix is controlled here. See that? Yeah. Why can't I just put the reverb on the other one? By the way, this is really no. Boy, they have the worst reverbs here. I just want a normal reverb. Yeah. Why not just put this right here on the original? Well, because I also want to send a little bit of that piano to the reverb. So I'm going to go to the piano here, and I'm going to click on my accompaniment 2. I'm also going to send some of that to the reverb. So now I can mute the rhythm and the bass. Now I got the piano going there too. Hear it? And the lead. In fact, I want tons of the piano going there. And just a little bit of my lead going there. I like that balance there. So the piano sounds like it's in outer space around it. And then now everything together. Oh, my accompaniment a little loud. Let me turn my accompaniment down. Ha! I got 2 buses. I've got right here a sub mix, meaning the outputs from accompaniment 1 and 2 are going to here. Right? Yeah. Okay. Then I also have an effects send going to bus 2, which is coming in this reverb right here. And I'm adding reverb onto it. This is exactly what I did for the wind ensemble. I had a sub mix of all the mics that were in the main stereo mics that I could bring up and down. Then I also had a reverb that I sent the bass direct, because the bass had no reverb on it because it came direct from that bass player, right? I wanted a little bit of reverb on the bass. I wanted a little reverb on the kick drum when it hit. All these different things I could send, and I only wanted one reverb. I didn't want a whole bunch of different reverbs because it was supposed to sound like it's in the same space, right? So then I also routed a bunch of mine over to the reverb. So I could maybe I want the drums to go to the reverb too. I can add some by adding a send on the rhythm part. I can now send some of my drums to the reverb. Okay, if I hit play, you can hear the drums there, right? On the reverb. Maybe I don't want that much on there. I don't want that much reverb. No reverb. Big difference, right? Bring in reverb. So that's all my reverb there. This is all my accompaniment parts. Now one of the things that's tricky is I've sent from this piano to the reverb before I send it to the accompaniment. So you'll see, even if I have the accompaniment master muted, I can still hear the reverb from the piano coming there. I have 2 paths to get out. It can get a little confusing sometimes. I probably would try to avoid that. Maybe I would send my reverb for my accompaniment part here, but then it would also include my guitar. I don't know if that's a good thing. And you can hear the guitars in that reverb too then. I don't like that so much. That makes sense? So my sends going across here. Now look, you can add as many sends as you want as soon as you create another one. I could have 256 sends on this thing if I wanted. And if I had maybe some players that wanted mixes in the headphones that are a little bit different, maybe I would send them a little bit more the lead or a little bit more of the drums into their personal mix that went out the output that they had. This computer only has one stereo out. It doesn't have a whole bunch of outputs. But on a device that has multiple outputs, under output here, you'd see multiple outputs too. You can either assign channels to it or sends to it.